ever feel like you have a hidden power, something that makes you, something different. Maybe it's like a talent, or maybe you have a way with words, or even, just a unique perspective on the world.
Right.
Well, that's what Shannon Hale really explores in the Goose Girl series, but with a magical twist, of course.
Okay.
And so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into this captivating world. We're going to focus primarily on the first book, The Goose Girl, but we'll glance at Enna Burning and River Secrets, too.
Sounds good.
So buckle up. We're about to uncover some seriously enchanting insights.
I'm excited. What I find so fascinating about this series is that it takes that feeling of having a hidden power and it just cranks it up to 11.
Oh, yeah.
These characters don't just have these unique talents, they have magic. It's woven into the very fabric of their beings.
Okay, let's jump right into The Goose Girl.
All right.
So we meet Annie, a crown princess, about to embark on this journey to marry a king she's never even met. Talk about arranged marriages, right?
Yeah.
But Annie has a secret. She can understand animals.
Really?
It's this gift that's seen as taboo in her world.
So it's like having this incredible ability, but she has to keep it hidden.
Exactly, because people would freak out if they knew.
Oh, I see. It's almost like having a superpower that you can't reveal.
Totally.
And that secrecy becomes crucial when Ani is betrayed and forced to disguise herself as a goose girl.
Right.
Can you imagine being stripped of your identity, your power, your very name?
Oh, it's awful.
It's a really powerful exploration of what happens when someone tries to silence your true self.
Yeah. And there's this really vivid line in the book where Ani describes the feeling of understanding animal speech as a cricket leaping inside her chest. I don't know about you, but that image just stuck with me.
It's a great image.
It captures the wonder and the secrecy of her gift.
It really does. And it makes you wonder, what if we all had that kind of connection to the natural world? What secrets would we learn? What wisdom would we gain?
I know, right? It's like this whole other level of communication that most of us are just missing out on. But back to Ani. Her situation goes from bad to worse. She's not only forced to tend geese, but her beloved talking horse, Falada, is also a victim of the betrayal.
Oh, no.
Poor Falada.
Falada's fate is heartbreaking. It's really symbolic. It represents this loss of innocence, the harsh realities that Ani is forced to confront.
Right.
But even in disguise, Ani's spirit isn't broken. She's determined to reclaim her identity and fight back against those who wronged her.
It really makes you root for her, to see her find her voice and reclaim her power.
You really want her to succeed.
Now let's shift gears to Enna Burning, the second book.
Okay.
Here we meet Enna, Ani's best friend.
Okay.
And she has a whole other kind of magic, fire speaking.
Oh.
This isn't just about controlling flames. It's deeply tied to her emotions, her deepest fears and passions.
That's amazing.
So fire speaking is dangerous and captivating at the same time. It's like holding raw, untamed power that could either create or destroy. And the book describes how fire speakers need to draw heat inside to wield their magic, which highlights this really intense internal struggle they face. Anna, in particular, fears that the fire will consume her, both literally and figuratively.
Oh, wow. It's a bit like dealing with intense emotions, isn't it? Sometimes they feel like they could burn you up from the inside.
Absolutely. And Anna's journey is all about learning to control that inner fire before it destroys her.
So she has to learn to control her emotions.
Yeah, she travels to Yasid, land known for its fire speakers. But it's not just about learning techniques. It's about confronting her inner demons. It makes me think about how we all have those things that we need to confront within ourselves, those fears and insecurities that can hold us back.
I agree.
Now, before we dive into River Secrets, the third book, I have to ask. You mentioned fire speaking being tied to emotions. Do you think Enna's fear is what makes her fire so dangerous?
Absolutely. It's like trying to control a wildfire with a shaky hand. Fear just fuels the flames, making them unpredictable and volatile.
Wow, that's a really powerful image. Have you ever felt like your own emotions were like a force that you had to learn to control? Like Enna, maybe not fire speaking, but that feeling of your emotions threatening to overwhelm you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've all been there, right? It's that feeling of losing control, of letting your emotions dictate your actions instead of the other way around. And that's why Enna's journey is so relatable. It's about finding that balance, between passion and control, between embracing your power and using it responsibly.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance.
It is. Yeah, it's like playing with fire. You never know how it's going to turn out.
Right.
Speaking of playing with fire, let's move on to River Secrets, the third book. This time, the focus shifts to Wren, a young girl from the forest who has this unique connection with trees.
Interesting.
But then something happens, this traumatic event that really just disrupts that connection.
Oh.
And it leaves her feeling lost and disconnected.
I see. Rin's story really highlights the idea that our connection to nature can be a source of strength and grounding.
Yeah.
When that connection is severed, it can be incredibly disorienting.
Absolutely. And in Rin's search for a new sense of belonging, she stumbles upon a different kind of magic, people speaking.
People speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine having the power to influence people's thoughts and actions.
Whoa.
It's almost like a mind control superpower.
That's pretty intense. It's a fascinating and dangerous ability.
Right.
While it might seem tempting to use it for good, the line between persuasion and manipulation can be pretty blurry.
Yeah.
Rin has to wrestle with the moral implications of her gift. And that's a dilemma that resonates with us even in a non-magical world,
Yeah. It's true. It's interesting because we often think of magic as this purely fantastical element.
Right.
But in the Goose Girl series, it really reflects those complexities of human nature.
Yeah.
Wind, fire, people speaking. They all represent different aspects of who we are, the light and the shadow.
I completely agree. And that's what makes this series so thought-provoking. It's not just about escapism. It's about holding a mirror up to ourselves and asking, what would I do with this kind of power?
Right. It challenges us to think about our own values and how we navigate those gray areas of life.
Exactly. And speaking of gray areas, one of the things that makes the series so gripping is the political intrigue that runs throughout.
Oh, yeah.
From Ani's betrayal and forced exile to the threat of war between kingdoms.
Right.
There's always a sense of danger lurking beneath the surface.
Really does.
It's like a game of chess where the stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah. And it's not just external threats. The characters also face betrayal from those they trust, which adds another layer of complexity to their relationships.
It makes you question, who to believe.
Yeah. Who to rely on.
Exactly. And as the series progresses, we see how these political tensions are often intertwined with the characters' personal journeys. For example, Anna's struggles with her fire-speaking ability become a focal point in the war between Bayern and Tira.
Right.
And Isi, who is now Queen of Bayern, has to navigate the challenges of ruling a kingdom while also dealing with the threat posed by Celia, her former friend turned enemy.
Yes, Celia.
She's such a compelling antagonist because she embodies that corrupting nature of people speaking.
Oh, totally.
Her desire for power and control consumes her.
It does.
Leading her to betray those closest to her and ultimately causing her own downfall.
Yeah.
It's a classic tale of ambition gone wrong.
It's like that saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And Celia is a prime example of what can happen when someone lets their ambition overshadow their morals.
Precisely. But it's not just Celia. The series features a cast of characters who grapple with moral dilemmas, forcing the reader to confront complex issues of right and wrong. There are no clear-cut heroes and villains, which, makes the story feel more realistic and relatable.
It's like real life,
Yeah.
right? Where people aren't always neatly categorized as good or bad.
Right.
We all have our flaws, our moments of weakness, and, our capacity for both good and evil.
Exactly. And that's what sets the Goose Girl series apart from, typical fairy tales.
Right.
It delves into the nuances of human nature, the struggles we all face, and the choices we make when confronted with difficult situations.
Right.
And in a way, that makes the stories even more magical because it's not just about spells and superpowers. It's about the magic of human connection, the power of resilience, and the enduring hope that we can overcome even the darkest of challenges.
Yeah, it's that reminder that even in a world with magic and these fantastical creatures, it's that human element that really resonates. We've talked a lot about the big picture stuff, the magic systems, the political intrigue, the moral dilemmas. But what really brings these stories to life are the smaller details.
Right.
The moments that make you laugh or cry or just nod your head in understanding.
Absolutely. Like in River Secrets when Rin tries to saddle a horse by climbing a tree and dropping onto its back.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's so quirky.
It is.
It's, a very Win-like thing to do. And it adds just this touch of humor to what's otherwise, a pretty intense scene.
Yeah, totally. It's those little moments of character development that just make the characters feel so real and relatable. Speaking of relatable, one of my favorite things about the series is the portrayal of female friendship. Ani, Enna, Isi, and Dasha.
Right.
They're there for each other through thick and thin.
They are a good group.
They celebrate each other's triumphs, offer support during times of hardship. It's not always perfect, but it feels genuine.
Yeah, their bond really highlights the power of female friendships, how they can provide strength and resilience in the face of adversity. It's refreshing to see such strong and supportive female characters, especially in a genre that often focuses on romantic relationships.
Totally. And their friendships aren't just about emotional support.
Right.
They also work together, using their unique skills and perspectives to solve problems and overcome challenges. It's like they each bring something different to the table.
Yeah.
And together, they're like this unstoppable force.
Exactly. And that ties back to one of the core messages of the series: finding your voice, embracing your power, and making a difference in the world.
Yeah, love that.
It's about recognizing that we all have something unique to offer. And when we work together, we can achieve amazing things.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
Oh.
We explored the enchanting world of the Goose Girl series, delved into the magical gifts and the moral dilemmas that they present.
Yeah.
And we even touched upon the power of friendship and self-discovery. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love a good thought-provoking question.
If you had to choose one magical gift, wind, fire, or people speaking,
Yeah.
which would you choose and why? It's a question that might reveal more about yourself than you realize.
It's a tough one. It makes you think about what you value most, what kind of power you'd be drawn to, and how you would use it.
Right.
Would you be tempted by, the freedom of wind speaking, or maybe the intensity of fire speaking?
Yeah.
Or the subtle influence of people speaking? Each gift comes with its own allure and its own set of challenges.
And it's not just about the power itself. It's about the responsibility that comes with it.
Right.
Because as we've seen in the Goose Girl series, even the most well-intentioned magic can have unintended consequences.
Exactly. It's like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And these books really drive that point home.
They do.
The characters learn the hard way that their choices have consequences, and they have to, face the repercussions of their actions.
It's a reminder that we all have the power to influence others.
Right.
Whether we possess these magical abilities or not.
Uh-huh.
Our words, our actions, even our silence, they all have an impact. And the Goose Girl series, it encourages us to think carefully about how we use that influence.
It's a powerful message, and it's one that resonates long after you've finished reading the books.
Hopefully.
So, if you're looking for a series that will transport you to another world, challenge your assumptions and leave you with a sense of wonder and possibility, then, the Goose Girl trilogy is definitely worth checking out. And who knows, you might even discover a hidden power within yourself along the way.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the stories that spark your imagination.